Gospel of Matthew. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything, but is thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all of the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Abba Father in heaven." Thus ends the reading of the Word. You might be wondering why I have chosen to work in Matthew's Gospel today, and with the Beatitudes in particular. Well, it's a good message to work whenever one or two or five people have made a decision to commit to the work of discipleship, to invest their gifts, their presence, their service, their prayers, and their witness to the pilgrimage journey of a congregation. We are all pilgrims on the way together to the path of holiness. The Beatitudes are well known, and whether folks who have heard them recited or who know where they come from, they can probably say at least one of the Beatitudes. As often as people will take them right out of context and offer them as a sort of platitude or proverb to someone, like a spiritual pat on the head, or maybe a warning. Children, blessed are the peacemakers. I'm sure you've heard that. These Beatitudes are elements in Jesus' very first sermon, the Sermon on the Mount. These are not grand theological or intellectual statements. They are invitations. They are assurances. They are daily affirmation type things, if you will, to bring people to a new understanding of themselves in relationship to God. Jesus was talking to folks, not in terms of how to get right with God, listing how many sacrifices they needed to make to atone for their sinful nature, which lay at the core of their being. Jesus looked into the faces of each and taught them that God comes to us wherever we are. Jesus looked into their faces and taught them that God comes to us wherever we are. Sometimes when you've heard a thing the same way over and over and over again, it's hard to hear it anew unless it is stated differently. I have read to you the Beatitudes from different versions or different translations of the Bible. But today I have restated these blessings, these invitations, to help you hear them as steps on the road to holiness, as steps in discipleship, each one asking more of the disciple, each step getting more and more demanding, more and more commanding, more and more difficult. Here they are, restated. If you are dispirited, impoverished of the Spirit, disconnected from the divine, feeling left or bereft of the presence of God, God awaits you. If you are filled with sorrow, if you are sad, grieving, mournful, hurt, even bitter, God waits to comfort you. If you are meek, timid, even weak, and afraid of your own shadow, God waits to empower you. If you hunger for justice, to see good triumph over evil, for right to triumph over wrong, for equality and fairness to reign, God waits to satisfy your hunger. Now notice the change that happens as these invitations, these Beatitudes evolve from receiving in the first few to doing and participating as the steps progress. If you are one who forgives, who shows mercy to those who disagree with you or even those who hurt you, God will be merciful to you. If your heart is pure, if you do all with a loving heart, say all from a loving heart, and live in the world as one who embraces God's love, God will be delighted one day to see you. Now the challenge gets a little tougher. If you have the courage to stand in the midst of turmoil and work for peace, to take it on the chin to accomplish peace, indeed, you are born of God. If you find yourself being criticized, ostracized, rejected, standing up and doing what is right, God awaits you. If you find yourself being ostracized, rejected, reviled by friends or enemies who speak all kinds of evil against you because you are a disciple of mine, be ecstatic, sing, rejoice, and be glad, for God has something wonderful to give you in heaven. If Jesus had preached the same sermon after 3 years of recruiting disciples, spending time debating with recalcitrant Pharisees, pompous politicians, and contentious priests, or trying to help those who cannot or will not help themselves, I dare say the Beatitudes would reflect his experiences.